once the session,
What information?
so the church tells you that there's essentially 5 things that you want to know. You need to know how many possessors there are, because you need to know, make sure that when the person's liberated, they're fully cleaned out.
So there might be multiple demons.
Yes, they have. Yeah. It's
What's
like I
the
said,
most you've seen?
well, I said that this one had Legion, and I believe it was Legion. But outside that context, the one that I've seen the most is 27.
27 demons and one human?
Yeah. And it was a pretty sad case. This guy was a hurting unit, man, from all that. So most of them, though, it's somewhere between 1 to 8, maybe, are the most that you tend to see as a general rule. I actually did see a case where I did one case where I got rid of one demon of fear. The woman went out and did something really stupid, and then when she came back, it was literally like scripture: 1 leaves and 7 come back, and that was literally, she had 7. So, but so the number of possessors, the names, because once you know the name, there's 2 aspects to the name. One, it gives you an identity. So, for example, when I had Loki in a case, once the demon revealed what his name was, then I was able to actually go and research historically Loki as a Norse god, because it says right in scripture, all the gods of Gentiles are demons. And so you can actually just go and look at the worship that they used to give to Loki in the past, and to the Norse god of Loki. And what you'll find out in there is it was almost a complete description of his personality. He's a god of mischief. And so he was just such a handle to get a hold of. But once you know the name, then you can do some research, or you can ask other exorcists, if you've seen this guy, etc. The second thing is the name gives you a power over them. Now, demons will either reveal their name right off the bat if it's not going to help, if it's not going to be mean that much, or they'll hold out and hold out and hold out as long as they possibly can, because once you know their name, then it gives you a certain power over them. We actually experience this as human beings. So if I call your name, hey, Sean, if you're standing over there and I say, hey, Sean, right? When it goes into your faculties and you hear it, it draws your attention. Well, it's the same thing with them. When you're using their name, it draws their attention, and they can't get their mind off of the thing that you're telling them to do. And so it gives you a power actually over them. So the names, how they got in, because a lot of times how they got in is how they're going to get out. Plus, times how they got in is very often, like if it's because they were wounded very badly, like a woman was raped or something of that sort, then you maybe some psychological issues that have to be addressed first before she's going to get liberated. And then the time and date of departure when you're leaving. I don't ask that too often because they usually lie. Now, only about 10% of the time do they actually tell the truth, but they usually lie. They'll say, oh, I'm leaving tomorrow, and then tomorrow comes and goes and they don't leave. And the reason they're doing that is they're trying to discourage the person who's last piece of information is, what is it going to take to get you out? And usually it's something very simple. So in the last case that the woman was liberated that I was working with, it took us a long time to get out this piece of information. She had to go to a specific altar in a particular church, and I had to say a specific prayer over her, and she would leave, and he would leave.